I've done it. I've found somewhere to hide him.
Where?
Where no one would even think about looking. Somewhere that only the patrician and I know exists, I reckon.
The patrician and you? What if the patrician finds two conkers there?
Two conkers should be able to hide without too much difficulty. Besides, I have a feeling that if Lord Veterinary meets two conkers, he'll have a different take on this situation. He doesn't like to see useful people get killed. Besides, I am sure this is the only place in Ankh-Morpork that he'll be safe from Remora. Is it okay to move him?
He should be okay.
To be feeling much better in thankings. Sure he's not still delirious?
Sometimes I wonder.
Let's go. Hello again, Leonard.
Hello. I'm afraid I had to go back to the drawing tablet with the spinning blades radiating from central hub. It was too heavy. The device flew all right, but only in a downward trajectory.
That is looking like some kind of fluttering machinery.
Yes. I call it a flapping wing flying device. But it isn't working yet.
May I take a look?
Be my guest.
Are you to be considering the increasings of the wingtitude?
The span of the wings? I considered it, but the weight is still the problem.
What if you be using bombastic wood for the frame? It hadn't occurred to me that two conkers would have any practical skills, but I guess you didn't carry out complex excavations without learning a thing or two about engineering. I left him to get to know Leonard and hooked up with Ilsa. She had a deal to keep. With two conkers safely hidden away, Ilsa kept her word. She took me straight to the guild and signed me in as her personal guest. The fireplace was home to a roaring fire, providing light and warmth. There was something distracting about it, but I couldn't work out what. Laredo Kronk, the upwardly nubile tomb evacuator, and the focus of the fantasies of 1,000 post-pubescent adolescents. I had to admit there was something about her. Excuse me. Can you help me?
That depends on what you want.
I'm new here. I'm just trying to get a feel for the place.
Are you a member?
Not yet.
What's your name?
Luton.
Laredo Kronk. Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
The pleasure is all mine.
Of course it is. So you're a guest, are you?
Is that a bad thing?
Only in so much as 8 out of 10 guests who confessed a preference stole something before disappearing.
I'm not going to steal anything, trust me.
No, I think you're wrong. You are going to steal something, but don't worry about it. Almost everything the Guild of Archaeologists owns is stolen, and frankly, they should expect people to steal from them.
Do you steal from them?
Golly, no! I never steal from anybody less than 1,000 years old, and with really exciting puzzles.
So, what do you do for a living?
I'm a tomb evacuator.
And what does that involve?
It's a lot of fun. It means breaking into ancient buildings within which no man or woman has walked for thousands of years, apart from whoever it is who leaves all those medical kits, of course, and working my way through fiendish traps and puzzles, and eventually stealing some priceless treasure.
And do you sell the treasure?
Goodness, no! I'm far too well-bred for that. I bring it here, and have to watch as they slam it into a vault that nobody will look in.
A vault?
Forget I said that. Suffice it to say, the Guild of Archaeologists has a priceless collection of artifacts, the no one gets to see them.
Isn't that a waste?
Well, nobody said archaeology was rewarding.
Why do you do it then?
For the excitement, silly. And the fame. Everyone has heard of Laredo Kronk.
I hadn't.
Well, most people have. I was on the front cover of Archaeologist's Monthly twice last year.
I don't read it.
Those long words can be so tiresome, can't they?
So, what does a tomb evacuator do?
Nothing special. I break into places where priceless antiquities have been locked away for centuries, overcome the elaborate and convoluted security systems, defeat my rivals, and make away with the treasure. Typical day's work, really.
So, you must be pretty rich then.
Oh, I've got absolutely pots of money. Anyway, the whole thing with the tombs and so on is just a hobby. And of course, it's great for making friends.
Among fiendish tomb-guarding monsters?
No, I kill all those. I meant people are always asking me things like, how do you get to the third ledge in the tomb of Tex-Mex cuisine? What's a walkthrough?
Never heard of it.
People are always asking me for one. I hope it's nothing to do with sex.
My mind just boggled. Sorry. Broken into anywhere interesting, have you?
Well, I knocked over the Grand Temple of Offla several times. Such sillies. Every time they get the Tear of Offla back, I take it. It's getting a bit boring recently. Then there's the Catacombs of Genua and the Temple of Anu Anu at Al-Khali. I don't know, it's all a little routine. I'd like to do something new for a change.
Ever thought about retiring?
I'd love to, but the public seem to want me.
You mentioned vaults.
I told you to forget I mentioned that.
I take it all the treasure that people find is kept in vaults under the guild.
I shouldn't discuss that with you since you're only a guest.
Worried I'm going to steal something?
Worried? No. I'm certain you're going to steal something. I just don't care.
Why not?
I'm very philosophical about this sort of thing. It's like I said, everything in the guild is stolen. It seems only fitting that someone else should get to steal it back. Assuming they can overcome the traps, of course.
Do you know a troll by the name of Horst?
Jasper Horst. Yes, I know him. Horst and I go way back, and I don't mean that in a good way.
How do you know Horst?
You could say that he and I are rivals. We have this uncanny habit of turning up in the same place at the same time, looking for the same archaic treasure.
You sound bitter.
Well, I always win, of course. But that doesn't mean I don't resent his interference.
Must keep your life interesting, though.
Perhaps. I could stand a little less excitement in my life, though.
Thanks for your time.
No problem.
Jasper Horst's private quarters.
Ah, Mr. Luton. It is always a pleasure to see you. I trust you have brought something with you that will be to my liking.
I haven't brought you the sword yet, if that's what you mean.
I'm a patient troll, sir, but there are limits to my patience.
A woman named Laredo Kronk is in town. It seems to me that you might know her.
Laredo is here in Ankh-Morpork? Really? I thought that we had dealt with her in the temples of Tezuman. She is full of surprises, that one. Would you do me a favor, sir, as one friend to another?
Perhaps. It depends on the favor.
But of course, your Your prudence continues to speak well of you. I'd like for you to arrange a meeting with Laredo for me.
It seems as if I'd be doing you a favor. It seems as if I should be getting something in return.
Very well. Arrange this meeting for me, and we can discuss the sword in detail. Do we have an agreement?
Works for me. I'll go give her the news. I can't guarantee she'll turn up, though.
Oh, she'll come. We have much to discuss.
The Guild of Archaeologists, Antiquarians, and Tomb Evacuators. Ankh-Morpork was home to around 300 guilds, most of which festered in the space between Unseen University and the Patrician's Palace like fungus. From the Assassin's Guild to the Beggar's Guild, every one a proud group of individuals basking in their mutual arrogance. I hated them for their smugness. I hated their petty bickering. But most of all, I hated that I wasn't part of one. I'm back.
Apparently so.
I've got a message for you from Horst.
Horst is in Ankh-Morpork.
Absolutely. He wants to meet with you to discuss certain matters arising.
Super.
I have to say that it's probably a trap.
Of course it's a trap. That's what makes it interesting. I'll see you later, Luton.
Best of luck.
You too.
Laredo made her way over to Horst's quarters and didn't look back. I had no idea what the two had to talk about, but I was sure it would lead to a new and exciting adventure, one even more complex and challenging than her last. For the time being at least, Laredo was out of the way. It was only a small bookcase, but it might have something interesting on its shelves. I browsed aimlessly through the bookcase, and I noticed that one of the books was connected to the bookcase by a hinge. I wasn't an expert, but I was pretty sure the hinged book was a switch of some kind. I heard a faint click, and the next thing I knew, the fireplace was revolving. I won't bore you with the details of the Guild's security system. After all, if you've seen one intricate and fatal collection of pits and traps, you've pretty much seen them all. Suffice to say, it took a lot of trial and error, some scorched eyebrows, and more levers than I could count. One of the vaults grabbed my attention more than the others, Vault 51. Whereas most of the vaults were open, this one was sealed behind a large oak door with the words Nil Introitus written on it. I once knew a man who had that tattooed on his buttocks. There was a panel by the oak door with runes on it. I punched away at the runes randomly, but as far as I could tell, nothing happened. Up on the wall of Vault 51 was a sign reading, "Unseen securities, magical alarms, wards, and hexes." I guess a place like this needed the best security around. I wasn't about to steal the security notice. Can we talk, or do I have to play that stupid game again? Business is slow. We can talk. I didn't want to discuss the golden sword with just anyone. Hello again, Warb.
Luton!
I think this charm bracelet is worth something to you.
Really?
The charms are carved from serendipitous redwood. It's a genuine luck bringer.
Where did you get it? And if it's so lucky, why do you want to give it to me?
It used to belong to Reagan. And I'm not going to give it to you, but I might trade it to you.
Reagan? The dwarf, yeah. I remember seeing him wear it at the tables. Do you think that was why he always won?
I'm no expert, but anything's possible.
You're right. I'm interested. What do you want for it?
What have you got?
I haven't got any money. Actually, I don't think I've got anything of any value to offer at all.
I guess we'll just have to think of something. I have an idea of what you can trade me for the bracelet.
Go on.
You work for Unseen Securities, right?
Yeah?
Well, I need to get into Vault 51 under the Guild of Archaeologists, and you can help me.
No. No, that's a bad idea. I could get into serious trouble.
Face it, Warb, your life's a mess. You've got nothing to lose. But if this charm bracelet is as good as it seems, it could make a world of difference to you.
Whoa, if they traced a break-in back to me, my life wouldn't be worth living.
In the first place, no one is going to know I broke in, and in the second place, there's no reason they need to trace it back to you. And in the third, your life is already not worth living. What difference is this going to make?
Oh, maybe you're right. All right, I'll do it.
How do I switch off the security system for Vault 51?
I don't know what their watchword is, but all the unseen security systems have a back passage.
What's that?
It's a way to switch them off that only we know about.
What is it?
You'll have to find the rune panel.
What's it look like?
It's a small panel with runes marked on it. You touch the right runes in sequence to switch it off.
What's the sequence for the back passage?
Give me the bracelet first.
Here you are. Now, what's the sequence for the back passage?
Whatever the runes are on the panel, make an X starting in the top left and finishing in the bottom left. That's the back passage.
A pleasure doing business with you, Warb.
You won't tell anyone about this, will you?
Don't worry. I'm feeling honorable today. The guild coat of arms was clearly displayed, along with the guild motto, Serpentis Odi. Just as Warb had told me, I made an X on the control panel. I just hoped he was telling the truth. One of the vaults grabbed my attention more than the others, Vault 51. Whereas most of the vaults were open, this one was sealed behind a large oak door with the words Nil Introitus written on it. I once knew a man who had that tattooed on his buttocks. Vault 51. I couldn't deny it. It made a big impression on me. Not quite as big an impression as some of the traps on the way would have done, but at least the impression it was making wasn't fatal. Vault 51 was filled with crates and displays of all shapes and sizes. I couldn't even begin to guess what treasures were lost in its cavernous interior. Perhaps even that pen I lost the other week. The crates were labeled with some kind of 4-digit reference number, and there did seem to be some sort of a pattern as to how they were organized. I'd realized that Mundy had been hung upside down before he was killed, and that the message that seemed to say Azil might actually read 3712V. But I didn't know what it meant. I worked my way around the vault towards Exhibit 3712V. The glass cabinet contained urns from Zorta and was labeled 3711 to 3713V. It was one of the most boring things I've ever seen. The fat urn was clearly a very ancient piece of pottery. It looked very boring indeed. The tall urn was probably a priceless antiquity, but I really didn't care. The small urn was as boring as the other two urns. There wasn't much I could do to the cabinet with my bare hands. A beautiful glittering diamond. I tried not to think that I had pulled it out of a dead troll's corpse. More importantly, I tried not to think about the fact that I stole it from the Salaci family mausoleum. The troll's tooth scored through the cabinet's glass like an accountant through a rich man's wallet. I smashed the toy urn into tiny pieces, and inside was the golden sword. Finally, this was it. The artifact that Carlotta, Horst, and who knows how many other people were looking for. Frankly, it was a bit of an anticlimax. I expected it to at least glow a little, or perhaps sing to itself quietly, or hum with the stolen souls of 1,000 men. But it just felt cold and hard in my hand, like any other sword. Suddenly it came over me that everything would go wrong. It sounds crazy, but it's true, so help me. I couldn't hear my footsteps. It was the walk of a dead man. When I made it out of the guild alive, I thought I was home free. But there was something wrong. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew I was in danger. I'm not a suspicious man, but I am a cautious man. I decided then and there to start running and not look back until my office door was safely locked behind me. But something else had plans for me not to make it that far. I don't know when I first began to suspect that I wasn't dead. I guess it must have been when I realized I was thinking about whether or not I was dead. The anthropomorphic entity with the scythe hadn't turned up, so I figured I was either alive or undead. And it didn't take me long to work out which. I wandered through the streets in a daze, not really knowing what was going on. At first, I couldn't make out any colors. Then gradually the city came alive with vast clouds of pigmentation. Against it all, there was an ever-present mist of bright green, cloying and unpleasant. There was a dissonance about it that I couldn't place, until I realized I was smelling the rank odor of the River Ankh. I was smelling... Every smell fascinated me. The resonant scents combined into a symphony. Every street was an opera, every lamppost an invitation. I don't know how long I wandered the streets. It's hard to tell which way is up when your world has been turned upside down. I ended up back where I started because I didn't know what else to do. Plus, my coat was in the coffin, and Ankh-Morpork is a bad neighborhood to be caught naked in.
Woof, woof.
I haven't got anything to eat, if that's what you want.
Woof. Woof, woof.
I haven't got any idea what's going on either.
Woof, bloody woof.
Hey,
That's pretty sharp. Most people don't catch on to that.
what did you say?
Woof, woof.
You can talk, can't you? I mean, really talk.
Nothing gets past you, does it?
How did you do that?
Well, I can sort of talk.
Nonsense. If there was a talking dog in Ankh-Morpork, I'd have heard about it.
Well, the thing is, most people don't seem to notice it.
Yeah, right. Like you wouldn't notice a talking dog.
Seems like people only see what they expect to see.
How philosophical of you.
I just calls them as I see them.
So how come I can tell you can talk?
I don't claim to understand it, I just do it.
Do you know what's happened to me?
I'm guessing you didn't know you were a werewolf till you woke up this morning.
I'm a werewolf. That explains what's happening to me. I thought somebody slipped something into my embalming fluid.
First order of business is to train you up then.
Hold it right there. I don't need your help.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Look at yourself. What's your name?
Luton. I'm a private investigator. Well, I was. Then I was dead. Then I was, well, a werewolf, I suppose. I guess I spoke too soon. Maybe I do need your help. What's your name?
Gaspode the Wonder Dog.
The Wonder Dog?
Hey, don't knock the name. I was named after the famous Gaspode.
Never heard of him.
Most people haven't. He belonged to an old man in Ankh many years ago. When the old man died and was buried, Gaspode lay down on his grave and howled for a couple of weeks, growling at anyone who came near. Then he died.
And they called him the Wonder Dog because he was such a paragon of doggy faithfulness and loyalty.
Until they discovered that his tail had been trapped under the stone, yeah.
How do you think I became a werewolf?
Well, presumably you got bit by a werewolf.
Bitten.
Right. Lesson 1. Don't correct me grammar, all right?
Sorry.
Okay. Well, once I've trained you, I suggest that the first thing you do is try and work out how you got infected.
Infected?
With lycanthropy. It's the blood disease that werewolves have. Now, since you don't have any cubhood memories of romping with your pack, I reckon it's a safe bet that you got infected somehow.
So someone I know is a werewolf.
Give the wolf a cigar.
So can I change between being a wolf and a man at will?
Sort of. There's a certain way the change works.
The change?
There's two things you got to learn about being a werewolf. The nose and the change.
The nose?
Yeah, the nose. Werewolves have a unique perception of the world, a different point of smell.
I've noticed that. I can see scents as colors, and they have a certain feel about them, too.
Those colours are unique. Each smell has its own signature colour. So you can tell whether or not someone has been somewhere by whether or not you can see their scent there.
Even as a man?
No, only when you're a wolf.
And how do I switch between forms?
That's what the change is all about. It's a skill you've got to learn how to do. Now, you've already used it to turn into a wolf. Soon, you'll be able to change whenever you wanna.
How did I change this time if I didn't know how?
That's the other thing about the change. You have to change at the full moon. I guess that's what brought this on in the first place. Other times, it's voluntary.
So can I change now?
Give it a try.
At first I didn't know what to do. But Gaspode talked me through it. Then, when I could see the world in all its psychedelic glory, Gaspode started teaching me about the nose.
You look around, tell me what you see, as a wolf.
There's a lot of colors.
Phew, I can see how you became a private investigator. You get a lot more information about scents with your werewolf senses. You can see them as colours.
I can see a mist of bright green surrounding everything. And there's something that looks like a long stream of purplish red cloud with some tiny fluorescent greenish yellow purple specks in it. Also, there's a ground fog of some kind of unpleasant blue.
Well, the bright green is the stench of the River Ark. No mistake in that. That long stream of cloud sounds like the scent of someone having gone through the cemetery recently. Does it smell like a privy carpet?
No, it smells like Carlotta, but with less treble.
Well, it wasn't me then. I guess I'm the ground fog of unpleasant blue.
Who was it?
I don't know who it was, but it was someone.
I can't see my own scent.
Well, that's normal. You're so used to being around it that it's invisible to you. And that's handy for me, what with my stench and all.
So I can follow the purplish scent to find this person.
If you want, and assuming you don't lose the trail. Other smells eventually drown scents out, especially out on the streets.
What about the coruscating dots?
What's it like?
It's like flashing green, yellow, purple.
Is it like mature mould with an earthy echo?
No.
It's not you then? Dunno what it is. See where else you find it and you might be able to work out what it is.
According to Gaspode, I could learn a lot from comparing different scents. I figured that could come in handy in my line of work. Assuming I could change back to being human, that is. I gave it my best shot.
Nicely done.
I learnt from a master.
Right, that's about it. Apart from the full moon, you can be whatever you want to be. But as of the full moon, you're sniffing lampposts with the rest of us.
My tombstone. Luton P.I. Gone and forgotten. Not the epitaph I'd hoped for. A mangy dog going by the name of Gaspode the Wonder Dog. Small, bow-legged, and wiry. Basically gray, but with patches of brown, white, and black in outlying areas. Gaspode appeared to have fleas, hard pads, scurf, crusted yellow eyes, arthritis, rotting teeth, and horrible bad breath. Between him and Nobby, I was starting to worry about my circle of friends. There was a water-soaked letter by my graveside. There's a letter at my graveside.
Who's it from?
Ilsa,
Who's Ilsa?
an old flame of mine from the good old days.
How old?
Old enough to be good.
What does it say?
It appears to be a love letter.
Dear Luton, I'm writing this letter even though I know I will never have the courage to give it to you. I have to leave Ankh-Morpork. I can't tell you why. I wish I could. These last few days have meant the world to me, but I haven't the strength to tell you to your face that I can never be yours. I am married to an Agatean man named Two Conkers, and I thought I would never see him again. He was dead to me, and my life was empty. Please believe me, I never meant to hurt you. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I will always look back on the Hotel Pseudopolis fondly.
You all right?
Sure. This is just one of those big emotional scenes like in the Clickies.
I suppose a bone is out of the question. Maybe a dog biscuit? Wag, wag?
My own grave. How depressing. I decided against crawling back into my grave. Something had passed through the cemetery and left a very strange trail. The smell of Gaspode the Wonder Dog, not unlike that of a privy carpet. The scent of a woman around my grave. Ah, the famous stench of the river Ankh, so beloved by the citizens of Ankh-Morpork. A strange scent I first found in the cemetery. I followed the magenta scent with a certain sense of grim inevitability. I already knew where it would lead. Having a chalk outline outside just didn't put people in the mood to gamble. It was probably the only time in my life I'd had an effect on high society. There was some kind of moss on the ground where I had been killed. It obviously didn't grow here, which means it came from somewhere else. The question was where? The green scent smelled like vegetation. The magenta trail led to the site of my murder. I guess it must be the murderer's trail. I followed my murderer's trail back to the Temple of Small Gods. I was on the other side of a stained glass window with some kind of angel on it. I could see that someone was on the other side of the window. I was confident the silhouette belonged to Mooncalf. The trail led to the Temple of Small Gods. Then I lost it. When I returned to my office for the first time since my murder, a man was already there. I knew he was a man because Corporal Nobbs was the only person in Ankh-Morpork who has to carry a letter to confirm his species. He's the kind of man you get itchy from just talking to. There must be something here. Hello, Nobby. Luton, you're alive? I was just... I was just cleaning out your desk. Yes, of everything of value. Didn't they bury you? Rumors of my death have been slightly exaggerated. Meaning? Meaning I'm not dead, I just got buried. Yeah, don't tell me the details. Suit yourself. Nice crowbar you're using to jimmy open my drawers. Yeah. I sort of borrowed it from the evidence room. That's okay. I sort of borrowed it from a cart. Oh, I searched Reagan's body. There were 2 tiny bite marks on it. Really? I guess it was more suspicious than you thought. Well, I ought to go. Looks like you don't need your things collecting. How goes the case? The counterweight killings? Oh, still not much progress. They wouldn't let me investigate it if they thought there would be. How many murders do you guys think there are? 3. One of the patrician's clerks, the reader of esoteric occultism up at Unseen University, and one of the city's richest merchants. There'd be 3 more if you counted Mundy, Reagan, and Malachite. I suppose so. Still not convinced? Well, Vimes isn't convinced. Even though I've been cleared, I have to get back to the yard. Nobby didn't seem very comfortable around me. I didn't know if it was because of my return from the grave or because I'd caught him trying to steal everything of value that wasn't tied down. Although with Nobby, even if you tied it down, he'd steal the string. The only thing I was sure of was that my next step was to look into the counterweight killings. I had a feeling I wasn't going to like what I found. My old trusty crowbar, stolen by me from the golem, then stolen from me by the watch, stolen by Nobby from the evidence cabinet, and finally back into my hands again. There was a poetic injustice about it all. One of the empty barrels had a faint magenta trace to it. The empty barrels were surrounded by a cloying red mist, and it had the shrill pitch of red wine, if I wasn't mistaken. Definitely the same scent as my killer, which meant whoever it was made it into the palace concealed in a wine barrel. Why did that bring to mind the phrase, "You wait, time passes," and Thorin sits down and starts singing about gold? The garbage was giving off a distinctive green cloud, not dissimilar to the smell of the river Ankh. Most of the wine barrels in the Café Ankh cellar had been brought into Ankh-Morpork on the Milka. There was a lingering smell of purple in the corner. There were some faint traces of a light blue scent in the corner of the cellar. Just like Samael had told me, there was a box of receipts in the cellar. The palace was due to buy some more wine. As far as I could tell, they would be collecting it sometime soon. I had a long wait, but it paid off. The wine barrels had allowed me to break into the palace. It didn't speak too highly of the palace's security, but I wasn't complaining. The storeroom was filled with boxes of food and supplies. I guess even the patrician had to eat every now and then. The double doors were more stately than the others leading from the hall. I reckoned that it led to the oblong office, the patrician's personal sanctum. I could hear a conversation on the other side of the door, but I couldn't quite make out what was being said. The only noticeable scent in the hallway was someone's trail which led to the double doors. As a wolf, my hearing was dramatically improved. I could recognize one of the voices as Commander Vimes, and the other voice had the calculating tones of Lord Vetinari, the patrician of Ankh-Morpork.
Are you any closer to a solution for our mutual problem?
No, sir. I've been occupied.
Indeed. And what could occupy you?
There was a string of copycat killings. I've been trying to solve them.
And have you?
No. My lead suspect was killed.
That is very unfortunate.
It certainly was for Luton.
So there has been no progress in determining who killed Cypher.
Not as such.
I had been given to understand that this was precisely the situation you were well equipped to handle.
I will solve this case, sir. You can count on me.
Do you recall what I said the city reminds me of?
You said it reminds you of a clock, sir.
Indeed. Big wheels and little wheels, all turning at different speeds to keep the machine working. That, after all, is the most important thing. The machine keeps going.
You've told me this before.
Do you know why it keeps working?
Because you want it to keep working?
I'm flattered that you think I have such importance. But no. It keeps running because the people believe it will keep running. Faith is a powerful force.
There is a point to this, sir?
I always have a point. Sometimes it's sharper than others.
I'm sorry. Continue.
One of my clerks has been found face down in a vat of wine, and that makes it appear as if the administration has lost control.
And the administration is me, right?
We are all the administration. You do the work, and I take both the credit and the blame. Provided I do not take the blame, I am content. I trust I make myself clear.
Perfectly.
Suddenly I could smell blood. It filled up my senses like a night in a forest. Except a night in a forest didn't make me want to tear someone's throat out. I didn't know whether the guard had cut himself or if I was just developing a healthy bloodlust, like any young werewolf. But I couldn't control myself.